Welcome to the Outlier YouTube channel.
Oh, what?
We're not family friendly here at Outlier.
No fun.
Yeah, that's why it's phenomenal. So anyways, we are going to do a little series where we're going to sit down and we're going to kind of look at some ads, break them down, and one, just see what we like and don't like about them, and then two, kind of explain some of the techniques and stuff. So if you're just getting into filmmaking, if you follow us and you kind of enjoy the work we do or some of the work we look at, it might give you a better idea as to how companies achieve certain looks. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the idea. I have selected this week's content, if we will. They're
Seems
all
like some of them I've seen.
Yeah, I think you've seen one or two of them.
Yeah.
And then there's some that I've kind of found which I don't think you've seen yet.
Cool.
So yeah, I think the first one is an ad for Airbnb Strangers. We actually watched this together about a week ago. It's full screen, this bad boy.
I love this.
The opening is so nice. The color tones are deadly. So moody. The dog bark in the background.
It's spooky at first.
Yeah. Really harsh, like contrasty lighting on the inside. I love that they've made the start of it seem so, ominous.
Mm-hmm.
The set design in this is fantastic,
Yeah.
and just everything thought out so well.
I love this track so much.
Yeah. So really nice, kind of like using the music to like motivate the change in emotion, which is really nice.
Above the weather, and whether you're gonna get on in is up to him.
Very cool.
Carry onward like some songbird.
Also the ears, the small little things like that, the ears and stuff. It's deadly.
You think that's a practical effect, yeah?
So that's the fun fact for this, which I'll tell you, is how they did the characters. So the whole premise, we don't need to watch every second of this.
But the ending is good.
The ending is lovely. Basically the whole premise then of this is, that the strangers seem big and scary at the start, which they did really well in this ad with, lighting, music, sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
When the light turns on upstairs and you hear that kind of like sound effect, it just inherently reminds you of a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they use the music on the record player to kind of like transition into, oh wait, these people are friendly and they're lovely. They might look scary, but they're friendly. That's the only shot that terrifies me, is the eyes.
Yeah.
The eyes in that shot are so terrifying.
Yeah.
But this was all done practically. So these hairy suits were built. I actually found on Instagram the designer who built them and the costume shop that built them.
Wow.
So yeah, there's people inside those costumes running around, and the only kind of VFX stuff that was done on this is moments like the ears and some of the like the transition here, which is really nice.
Really nice.
So transitions from these big scary people to they're just a family and they've left. So I really like that ad. I love the concept of it. And the way they've, the two different tones, like at the start, we can see like super dark, super kind of moody, like almost moonlighty, as if they're about to attack someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then, transitions into really nice kind of tonal outdoor shots in the forest.
For me, in a lot of ways, it's kind of a perfect ad because it leaves you with that warm, fuzzy feeling that makes you want to do the call to action.
And you're also kind of watching it going, what the fuck's the
start.
premise here? Like, when we first watched it, I was like, I have no idea what this ad is for. Yeah. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, that's deadly.
And then the payoff is way bigger.
Yeah. So that's the first ad. So I really like that. Again, like I said, great use of lighting and the kind of the way they've used the tone and the music to set the piece. Mm-hmm. For me, I think sound and sound design get overlooked a little bit, but they can tie together a piece. If you watch something, it's like a horror movie, right? Mm-hmm. If you're scared watching a horror movie, put it on mute and then watch it. Not scary. Like, not at all scary.
That's good advice.
Right? Like, I used to as a kid, I'd be watching someone, I'd be like, oh, I can't watch this. I'd mute it, and then I'd be like, oh, this is fine. They look like idiots, because it's like the sound design and the noises, and it's like all that sound and atmosphere. That's terrifying. So I was like, whatever.
Love that. That's the perfect.
So
for me.
Airbnb Strangers, directed by Kim
Gaffrig.
Gehrig. Excuse me if I butchered your name, Kim. Not that you're ever going to see this, but yeah. So that's ad one. All the links to these as well will be underneath the video.
Well, let's get into it. Oh. What? This isn't family friendly at all.
We're not family friendly here at Outlier.
Big contrast to last number, yeah. It's an ad for Apple Pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
An ad for Apple Pay.
Makes sense because they're showing how dirty the dollar
Right.
is.
So that's the whole thing, was that, like, you know, you don't
Okay.
need this cash. And so, like, I was surprised by, like, the fact that it was so kind of...
Because they've got the cocaine, they've
Got
got
the
the
cocaine.
strippers.
Yeah, so that's why I'm actually need to find out if that's, like, a legit
That could be spec.
ad, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a very good credit list if it is spec.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they don't mention...
It's a brilliant ad.
Great ad. They don't mention the agency or the client.
Third comment there is going for a gig with Apple. Sure, this will impress. Yeah, so that kind of implies that they're going for it.
So something like this is spec ad. A really good way, actually, if you guys don't know, of getting certain kind of jobs is if you haven't done a certain type of work before, if you can shoot something similar to the brand you want to work with, and then if they see it, they're like, okay, these guys get it. They have a really good production style.
Mm-hmm.
This one is probably aiming a little bit for the sky because you've got references to cocaine and strippers in it. But visually, thought it was a really, really cool ad.
But also similarly, you can use a spec to, you know, show other brands in a similar field.
Yeah. Someone might see this who is a little bit more like not advertiser friendly, or, you know, who pushes the boat a little bit, and they'll see that and go, okay, yeah, these guys get it. So,
But
so yeah, very
sound
cool.
design again, unbelievable.
Sound design makes this one, you know, all the different noises and effects. Like for me, what I love is, like, this is a really simple ad when you break it down. It's just very well storyboarded. You know, it's a lot of overhead shots, looking at the money, using that kind of center tracking, which, if you don't know, you can find tutorials on YouTube pretty easily to track a moving object and keep it in center frame. So that's just a really well utilized effect here, where you see the dollar bill, and then if someone picks it up, it'll track with that dollar bill, and they transition like that, you know, and it just keeps that dollar in the center, and it keeps your eye on it. All the different scenarios it's in, again, to set the scene, like here, using the
really
blue
cool.
lighting and using the pink in the previous sequence. So yeah, I love this one. Fair play to the whole team involved. And again, a bit of satire here, guy going for piss, you know, the tenner falls out of the back pocket. Like, so that's number 2. That's Dirty Money.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. I don't know if you've seen this.
This is the one out in the field I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh
though.
man, it's by far
amazing.
one of my favorite ads of... It was done 2021, so my favorite ad of 2021. It's phenomenal. So let's just...
Burberry are known for these sorts of ads as well. They have
Yeah,
previous
they're really good. They're like,
Christmas, I think.
yeah, it's like, you know, people always talk about the Christmas ads, like John Lewis and stuff.
Yeah.
These ads are just, they're on that level of every time they release an ad, you're like,
Yeah.
damn, that's
Yeah.
good. So yeah, Burberry's 2021 ad. I love this effect.
You reckon that's CG?
Nope.
They waited for some wind?
All practical.
So they had a helicopter fly really close to the ground, and wow.
They flew a helicopter over, kept it out of frame, or masked it out of frame.
Yeah. Deadly idea.
And this is all practical.
What?
Both the camera and the actors are on wires on a giant 200-foot crane in the field.
Have you seen the behind the scenes? of it?
Yeah, the behind the scenes of this is amazing.
That is
I'm going to show you some clips here of
incredible.
the behind the scenes, and the full behind the scenes video will be linked down below. But yeah,
So close to
it's
the
amazing.
ground.
All of it. Yeah. They're just on cables, and they're, yeah, just basically being swung around. And they wanted it to seem like the camera was with them, so the cameraman is also on cables. Yeah, it's insane.
No fucking
Yeah,
way.
that's why it's phenomenal. The
Yeah.
color palette, the movement, the sound, this
Wow.
all practical. She's physically running and touching those trees.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Over the water.
Same again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal ad. And this is the only bit of practical or CG effects.
Yeah.
Is, over the cliffs of Dover.
Is that where it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. White Cliffs of Dover. Burberry, killing the game. An unbelievable ad.
Yeah.
Both from
Megaforce, is that the name of the production company?
I believe so. Both from like a concept point of view, and then just executed phenomenally. Like, it's one of my favorite pieces of like advertising that I've seen in a long time. So yeah, Burberry. There's not much to say on that. Just the mind-blowing part of it is the fact that it's all practical. So the next one is an ad for Beats. Again, it's not your typical kind of like commercial style ad. It's not 40 seconds. It's not super fast. It's just like a really nice, like well-told piece. Great script writing, lovely lighting, and they combine. A really popular thing at the minute is that like 16mm film look. And a lot of stuff is being shot on film. But what they've kind of done here is,
and even more stuff is being shot on digital and then emulating something.
Right. So what they've done here, and to be honest, I actually can't tell, and I couldn't find out if it is the case or not, but there's some bits that either were actually shot on film or are a very good film emulation. And then there's some bits that were shot definitely on digital, and I'll point them out, and that are trying to be film, but they're definitely not. And there's a couple of telltale signs. And this hopefully will, you might be able to watch this and spot them yourselves. So, yeah, here we go.
You love me. You love me not.
See, I think these bits are actually film. That's digital. Yeah, that's digital.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have said the opposite.
You
That's
love
film.
black culture, but do you love me?
That's film. So, like, for example, see here, right? Film deals well with highlights. It doesn't deal well with shadows. So you've got highlights up here. His face, the skin looks well, but in the darker parts of the face, there's no detail. That's where film kind of falls apart, is in those areas. And that's like a really telltale sign of film, is crushed blacks and like really, really dark kind of shadowy areas. It just doesn't do well with that. You're nearly better overexposing film because it has that extra stop or two up at the top. Not so much in the shadows, you kind of lose a lot. So that's why these shots look to me like they're actual film.
You love how I sound. Voice.
So here,
digital,
right? So you see here in the skin, there's detail there. There's clarity on the ear. There's clarity, like you can see the hairlines, you can see the edge of the t-shirt and the detail. You're not getting any of that on film. Like, like look how clean the skin is. Like it's so sharp.
And then there's noise added.
But not enough. Right? It's too small. It's too fine. It doesn't have that like grain. It's more noise rather than grain. So that's kind of why I think some of it actually is shot 16mm and some of it is digital. Like that looks more filmic to me.
Oh yeah,
there.
We still fight. We still play while the world burns. On fields that ain't even level. All men are created equal. That's my favorite part. You hate us so deeply.
Part of me thinks some of this is film. There's some nice grainy bits. I love this shot. This shot's so cool.
There's history in our skin. You built this country on our backs. I'm him. He's me. She, us, we are all black. Love me or not, we love each other deeply. We gonna be us. We gonna break bread. We gonna defy gravity.
Love that shot.
Culture.
Yeah.
But do you love me? What a world that would be.
Wow. Powerful message too.
Good, eh?
Yeah. I love it. Like for me, it's more so the kind of the message that's kind of sticking with me.
Yeah.
And how they've used filmmaking techniques to convey that message.
This isn't really an ad. Well, it is an ad.
Okay.
But it's just simple and it's stunning.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Will there be a day when we can meet on solid ground? What are we all to say when words for answers can't be found? For what it's worth to be amongst the lucky ones, to be looking at the suffering ones from far away. Will there be a tree that carries fruits for everyone? How sweet the day will be when each of us can pick their own, and we will see the shade it gives us big enough, and roots it has got plenty of to bloom again. Will there be a way that leads us back to where we're from? A genuine place to stay, where all the answers will be known.
I need to call her. This is stunning.
It's good, isn't it?
It's stunning, man. I can't see what it would be an ad for though.
Just you wait.
BetterHelp?
BetterHelp?
Yeah.
As in,
Online therapy.
yeah, basically. Not that company, but
Oh, it would have been.
it's just basically an ad for, like, you know, anxiety and panic attacks.
Yeah.
It's just like the color palette, the
Mm.
camera move, like everything.
It's German, is it?
Yes.
Mm.
Just everything about it I thought was unbelievable.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning ad.
Right.
What was interesting to me about it was you see him here briefly.
Yeah.
and
You
at
assume
that
he's
point-
alone.
Yeah, and at that point, you can't really hear the breathing.
Yeah.
It's only really when you get around the door here.
Yeah.
To be looking at the suffering ones from far away.
And when you see the second knee here,
Yeah.
smart that they've delayed that reveal.
So the first time I watched this,
Having
I
the
actually
same
didn't even
jeans.
notice her at all
Really?
until I didn't even notice the hand
Right.
until they actually showed her face, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
that person!" Until here, then I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh
yeah.
fuck, there's someone with her or with him." So yeah, I just love this piece. I think it's so good. Like, again, something that I've talked about loads is control. It's one thing that people ask, like, you know, any tips for like shooting stuff. Control. Like, this was shot. If you look at this opening shot, like, time of day.
Mm.
There's no lighting in this at all.
Mm.
It's just time of day. Like, super early morning, cold, there's still fog, there's a little bit of light in the sky, but you don't have a really bright sky and then a dark kind of shadowy, you know, big shadow here from the car, from the sun. Really, really nice. It means that when you get around to here, like, our cameraman passes in front of the entire scene and doesn't once create a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Because control, time of day, and the light is nice and soft.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually creating a bit of a flag on his face here,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a bit of definition. You got the bright side of the face and the dark side,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we don't really ever see a reverse on her, so we don't need to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I just think this is like really, really smart filmmaking. If I was to do one thing differently, it would be to use a Steadicam instead of a gimbal. That's the only thing I can say. I don't know for sure if this was shot Steadicam or gimbal, but you can see the footsteps, which leads me to believe it was done on a gimbal.
Do you think there's any stabilization in post?
A small bit. There's like
There's a
a
little bit of a
very
warp there.
slight bit of warp, but
Mm.
like, again, that's probably just to take out the fact that this was realistically done by a few people with a gimbal and a nice location. So, you know, bigger production, you'd have a steady cam. So it literally is like 100% seamless.
The one thing that the footsteps make you feel is that
maybe it's you walking over to the car. Yeah. And if that's intentional,
I don't
genius,
think it is, because
right?
they don't react.
Yeah.
So I think it actually does take you out of it a little bit.
A little
the fact
bit,
that you can feel the footsteps.
Yeah, but let's say that was done totally handheld. It would feel like it's me who's going to the car to this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen this thing and I just love how they did it. Love the reveal of her singing to him and yeah, just the location, the car, everything, the color, the palette. Like the palette is so muted. Like later on here, pale blue, pale yellow. You know, icy kind of skin, like just really, really, really visually a stunning piece. So credit to everyone involved in this one again.
My first, like when I saw his face first, I actually thought these were little like splatters of blood. And that he'd been involved in a car crash or something.
Instead of just the freckles. Yeah, because that's kind of the vibe. It's like you don't really know what's going on. Honestly, till the title comes up at the end.
Really?
But like, well, I didn't really, like, I was kind of like, what is this? Like, I figured it was someone upset about something, but you know, you think it's because something he's done, but then when the title comes up, for me, it's kind of when it's like, oh yeah, it's just a panic attack. Like, so yeah, I really love this piece. They're my ads for this week. That's all.
They were excellent. I really enjoyed those.
Anything you want to watch, guys, can be found. Links in the description. Yeah, if there's any ads you'd like us to look at and try and figure out how they made them or give you some feedback on them,
so
link them below.
I'm gonna select ads for the next episode, right?
Yes.
And I think what I'm gonna do is touch on some like classic ads. Maybe some of them will be Irish, some of them will be international.
Okay.
But like ones that you might have seen before in your youth, but maybe you haven't seen them in like 15 years.
Yeah, okay. All right, I like that.
So I've got some good ideas.
The OG ad breakdown.
We'll the OG ad breakdown. We'll keep it a secret until next week.
That sounds good. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on social channels and all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.